And welcome to episode 22 of Soggy Popcorn. And with me is Similina. Hi,
Oh,
Si.
hey, no, that's me. Yeah, hello, welcome.
And we've also got my other better half, Tess.
Hello.
Your other
Um,
better half, including me.
yeah.
I'm your better half. She's your
Oh,
other better
no.
half. Your better
The other
half.
one.
I'm learning something already.
In every relationship, I'm the worst. The worst half.
Even in a
Always.
three.
Yeah,
Always, the
especially in
worst
three. And today we're going to be discussing films that we've seen, including Batman, Superman, and also horror film The Witch and other bits and pieces that we've seen. And we're also going to be talking about our top 5 80s films that we'd like to see a sequel to, which should go against our better judgment of the fact that people keep making sequels or rehashes, reversions of 80s, great 80s films. But yeah, so it'd be interesting to see what we come up with. So should we just start straight from the top with Batman, Superman?
Yeah, let's go into it. Let's go.
So let's go. So Si, what did you think?
Well, I couldn't stand it. I really couldn't. It's funny really because I was just thinking earlier that this should be a film that has had 10 years of excitement built up, that I would just want to see. I mean, it's goddamn Batman versus Superman. So it's already just the fact that I wasn't even excited about seeing it in the first place made me feel a bit like, why? This should be just like a massive event. But I haven't been, I don't know about you, but leading up to it, not just because of the reviews and stuff, but because of the trailers and it being Schneider and the casting and everything, I was never that excited about it. And unfortunately, it didn't really prove any otherwise when I actually watched the thing. So I don't know about you, but I found it. I mean, there's a lot wrong with it. Mostly, I just found it too long, just really drawn out, slow, and too much Schneider slow-mo 300 style fantasy fight scenes.
Yeah,
And it just didn't have much raw, kind of brutal, like dark elements to it, even though it did try to be dark, and it had the lack of any ounce of humor as well. I thought was a shame.
especially compared to like the big Marvel things they're trying to compare themselves to.
Because there was no wink and no comic relief at all. There was no light at all. It was all just very dark and serious and brooding and just it's just so heavily CGI laden as well. And then like you said, you were inevitably going to compare it to the Marvel universe films because you have to. And in the Avengers, the first Avengers especially, they got that mix of humor and action and story and character. They got it kind of spot on. Joss Whedon, maybe not the second one as much, but with this, they just didn't do it, and you just felt like they tried to catch up with the Marvel universe. However many films they've made now, 5, 6, 7 films in one film, trying to shoehorn other characters in which had no place being there, and that the plot just being absolutely nonsensical. I just felt like, I'm not even going to say I'm disappointed because I didn't really expect much, which is a shame. But I came out just as I went in thinking, meh, okay, well that's what I expected.
So is that like a bad guy, like a nemesis, or?
Well, there's Lex Luthor, which is Jesse Eisenberg.
Did that work?
He's the worst thing.
He was
the worst.
He was
even in the trailer. It's like, oh, not sure about that.
I mean, all that stuff
awful.
in the trailer is how he is the whole time. This horrible, weird, girly voice. He's trying to be crazy, but instead just comes off like an idiot. And he's just not a real
he's not
threat
very
or nemesis.
scary.
No, he's not scary, but
well,
I don't know.
That's the whole point. He tries to be crazy. Like, people say in acting, it's like apparently like when you say an actor tries to act drunk, they should actually try to act sober, so they appear drunk rather than trying to act drunk. And apparently, it's a similar thing, or should be a similar thing, with playing senile or eccentric characters, to try and act like you're trying not to be crazy, but you are. Instead, he does all the cliches of trying to be crazy. And there's that one scene relatively near the beginning when Batman and Superman first meet each other, and he has that really cheesy introduction where he's like, "Oh, Clark Kent, meet
Yeah, it's in the
Bruce
trailer.
Wayne. He's like, oh yeah, in the trailer, he's like, oh, okay, these two are meeting in front of me, and it's he just looks like an annoying little pipsqueaky, like high school kid, just in the middle of these two, like massive men who haven't even said anything to each other yet. And in that, it was just before, just after that scene where he's given that, like, there's like a canapé reception, he's giving the speech, and at the end of it, he just starts like going, anyway, and like doing some weird, like, freak out.
Yeah, he's just not sure what
crazy
he's saying.
thing. Yeah, he's not sure what he's saying. He starts like just talking nonsense, and then he has like a weird, crazy, like tick, like Simpsons style, like I'm crazy, and it's oh god, it's just horrible.
Ralph. I don't know why, but Ralph came.
It was like a Ralph Wiggum, like or like Homer spinning on the floor. There's something wrong with it. And then it cuts to like the audio of the guests, and they just like roll their eyes, look at each other, and like okay.
Classic.
And there were so many.
Was he meant to be funny? Was he meant to be like?
No, that's the point. He just
he's more than funny.
No, he's not. He's a senile. He's going crazy. But he just plays it way over the top. And oh god, it's just that was Eisenberg in that. It was always going to be that bad, and it really, really was. And he did enough to ruin the film if there wasn't so much other things that ruined it.
So
anyway.
how did it work with the whole Wonder Woman thing?
She was in it, really, to be honest.
She wasn't really in it. They didn't explain it
Are they
at
setting
all.
that up for like a?
Yeah, God have they. There was like, so there's
man.
the one thing which really I hated about it was that all the kind of weird dream sequences was weird. And like the bit where he's like in the future and he's in the desert, like there's a bit in the trailer where he's wearing that massive like long brown coat and he's in the desert, whatever. So all that's like this weird future
awesome,
dream.
though.
Yeah, that was
cool.
like, that was one of the best bits. I was like, okay, this is pretty cool.
Yeah,
and then
exactly.
against these like Superman soldiers, whatever, and he's like the Resistance or whatever the fuck he's supposed to be. Yeah. And then all of a sudden he's like back in his thing, and then like someone told me that it was supposed to be the Flash.
It is, yeah.
That comes in going, "Hey, man!"
Like in a dream, it's premonition.
Yeah, you're right. Lois Lane is the key, and you're right to hate him. And then he disappears, and then Batman wakes up again. He's like, "Yeah, that was weird."
It's like a double sleep, double nightmare thing. But that's the thing. They just it felt like they'd
psychic.
Oh, kind of. Well, it felt like they had shot like all the action scenes, like the big set pieces, and then they've gone right. Okay, now we need to tie this all together. So let's go back and shoot these scenes. Honestly, the scenes where the characters actually interact with each other. Okay, let's do that. Put that in the trailer. And then, oh shit! But the studio said we have to have teasers for the other heroes. We have to cram in at least 4 or 5 other DC heroes who no one have heard of. So let's go back and shoot that stuff. I don't know how we're going to fit it in. We'll fit it in with a dream sequence. Okay, that's good. We'll get the Flash in, and then we'll fit it in with Wonder Woman watching YouTube, and then these other.
It wasn't.
It felt so forced. It wasn't actually YouTube, but it's
he was like Batman was like, "Hey, I found a file with you in it, and here's these other guys who have like pretty cool minimalist logos. Do you want to have a look?" And she was like, "Oh, Flash.
Yeah, who made those logos? Who made those logos? Why are those logos on the attachment?"
That's what I thought. I was like, "That's pretty cool, Lex Luthor, to do them all like design them logos." But who was the other one? I didn't know who it was. Obviously, Flash, Aquaman. Who was the
Aquaman was the best. He was just like
he just came up
here.
really slowly going.
Slowly just comes up with a weird submarine thing or like some sunken ship.
Yeah.
Goes, hey, leave me alone, and then just disappears.
It cuts to some weird angle, weird up, weird wide.
We're going we're going big spoiler territory here, by the way.
Well, it's not a spoiler. We're just saying that they're involved. They're not even involved. They just get like little nods.
Teaser. That should have been right at the end. Then, if they were going to do that, it should have been post-credit scene or right at the end. It's like, look at these guys. We've got some. They could have even been like a computer graphic, like scene without Wonder Woman or anyone anchoring that scene. It could have just been like, a computer comes on and go, and then like these these files come up, and it's like, like secret files, and then archive done like that. Something.
But is it that classic Zack Snyder thing where it's like massively reliant on CG and style over substance?
Yeah,
and then you just feel nothing for anyone throughout the entire film.
Oh yeah, especially because the people like Gal Gadot is just Wonder Woman. She's just there to look pretty. She barely does anything. She just reacts to Batman and just standing there and just like smiles. And they don't explain how she's in that universe. They don't explain anything. The only history or background to her is just a photo, which I won't go into. But there's no explanation what she's doing there, what her agenda is. There's no motivation for any characters, and that's what really annoyed me. Anybody, especially her. And then she just jumps into the action and jumps out, and she's purely just as a bridge into the other characters who no one cares about because they're like, who the hell's Cyborg, you know? But yeah,
who was the third person?
Fuck no, that was the Cyborg. Who the hell's Cyborg? I don't actually know.
Oh, okay, I didn't know. I was looking at it going, huh?
It was Aquaman. Who was the kid in the
kid in the thing? He was Flash.
Yeah. Wait. So then,
but then there was another one, wasn't there? Like
there's a different version of. So that couldn't have been Flash in a dream.
Going, oh, this experiment isn't working, and then he's playing Cyborg. Yes, what I mean. Who's that? Who's Cyborg?
I don't know. I've just heard it's Cyborg, some half man, half machine guy.
Okay. Well,
but then wait, if that was Flash in the supermarket, so then was it a different Flash who came in Premonition?
I don't know. I've no idea because that happened after the Premonition, didn't it?
Yeah.
So I can compare it.
It just felt so forced and so just after the fact. But yeah, like, that's what annoyed me more. I don't know what you think about the motivation for all these characters, Superman and Batman especially. Like there was no real build up to why these guys would fight each other and how much of a figureheads they are in their own worlds. It's just like Batman went over to Metropolis for business or for a party or something, and then Batman happened to be hanging around, and they just like look at each other and like, whose cock's bigger, mine or yours? Let's like find out. And there's no there's just no motivation for it, and there was no real reason why they would hate each other and fight each other. And then after, when they did fight each other and they kind of like, okay, let's put our differences aside, which I don't want to spoil, but the reason the reason why they do just think, okay, agree, let's fight together rather than against each other is so lame.
Yeah, really lame.
It's just it feels like it was written by a kid. The whole thing feels like it was written by like, okay, here's a class full of like 12-year-olds who everybody write a script, and then the winner gets to actually will produce it. And it's just it felt just so immature and
so
basic.
What did you guys like about it?
So I like the fact it did. I've got three things I liked about it. Was one, it did feel epic, which like Man of Steel did in its own way, in that it felt big. So that was all right, I suppose. I really liked Ben Affleck as Batman.
Yeah, he's my one thing.
Yeah,
he's the only thing I like.
He's like good in that he's like a little bit old, a little bit like fuck this, a little bit grizzled, and I like the fighting stuff as well that he did.
How does he compare to Bale though? Surely that's
it's quite similar. Well, I thought it was quite similar in the fact that it's very like dark and brooding, but where like Christian Bale was still like a bit young and a bit like
cocky
and whatever. Like here, he's just like.
Well, he's jaded, isn't he? I like that. He's old and bitter, and he's just like he's almost semi-retired. You get the feeling, but he just doesn't really want to keep doing this for much longer. He's forced to do it. But I just wish it was a Batman film. Apparently, he's written one, right? So Affleck has apparently written a Batman film that now he wants to make after he's out of contract. He's got to do 2 more Justice League films. He knows it's shit. Look at the expressions on his face in interviews and stuff. He knows it's bad. So he's written one he wants to play.
Great. Well, if he comes away with a Batman film under his belt, I'm sure he'll do all the shit that he needs to before he can go and do his own version thereof.
Who knows? Who knows if they'll even finance it after that? But it should have been a Batman film, because the best sequences were with him in it. Like that dream sequence you're talking about, where he's like in a weird desert and he was fighting these Superman alien dudes. That was really cool. But then also his fight towards the end involving Batman and about 40 henchmen was awesome. That was really good. Like really, just like the fighting in it, the action, the camera work and everything was great, and the pace of it, that was really brutal as well, which is really cool. But that was that's all I really liked in the film was Affleck. But
I like the fact that he fucked Superman up properly as well.
Yeah, he did, and I liked I liked Affleck's. Yeah, they
fight. So
they fuck each other up. Really, they up the bum. They but I liked his performance, but I didn't really like how they built up Batman. It's again giving like flashback sequences of Bruce Wayne's mum and dad dying again, but really not grounding it in anything. So if anyone didn't know the story, they're just seeing this weird dream sequence and thinking, okay, what's this actually mean, and how has this affected him now? And the Jeremy Irons as Alfred was just shit. He's just a caricature.
Well, he was hardly in it again as well.
Barely in it, but like just drunk old man sitting around playing on a computer. And then there's a weird. hint, wasn't there, a Robin suit? Do you see that? A Robin suit?
Well, because it's in the trailer as well, where Joker's killed him.
Really nice.
That's what.
Yeah. So is that what? So there's no more to it than that, is there? So is that just implied that he had a Robin had been killed by the Joker, and that's why he's so like dark and depressed?
Yeah, I think that's part. I mean, that's kind of what they've said, and I imagine there's going to be a 3.5-hour extended edition where there's going to be a scene of it or something like that. Another thing I really liked about it was watching the Superman battle from Batman's perspective.
That was cool. Okay, yeah, that was quite good at the very, very beginning.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. But yeah, stuff I hated about it. It was just, it was slow. I thought it was really slow. I thought the fight wasn't as great as what I thought it would be. I mean, it was pretty good, but at the same time, I was just a bit like, it could have been, I don't know, I didn't feel there was any real tension there. As you were saying, like, motivation wasn't right. It felt weird. And also,
especially for Superman. Superman had no reason for doing anything in that film at all.
Yeah. And just Henry Cavill was just shitty, right?
Amy Adams just popping in and out the whole time. Yeah, because Henry Cavill can't act. He's just the worst actor, one of the worst actors in Hollywood. And it's just the way he looks. He just looks like Superman. And it just felt like they had to put Amy Adams in just to have some acting chops around him, And so they're just chucking her in at just the most inconvenient times.
She just comes up with that terrible dialogue, like, you stand for hope.
Yeah, exactly.
This is when the stuff with that bullet, just to give us something to do. Oh,
yeah, exactly.
Evil.
Yeah, and it was just a means of getting Superman in certain locations, just to put her in peril again. And then her just giving him, like, just to have some romance, because there's no Bruce Wayne romance, because the way they, wrote that character, he's still kind of womanizing, but kind of not, and he's like, just can't be bothered to do anything. Yeah. So they need some romance in a film like that. So all they could do is, again, Lois Lane and Clark Kent and their relationship that, okay, they've been together for a while. It was all a bit like Spider-Man 2 was a Spider-Man 3, when then she knows he's Peter's Spider-Man and they're in a relationship, but he's like, he is Spider-Man, but I'm living with it, I'm trying to deal with it, like that, like it's part of their relationship that he's also a superhero. And that didn't really work either, because it didn't really feel like there was much tension in that relationship because of that, and nothing really worked for me. Just a couple of action sequences in Affleck, that was it.
Yeah, it's a shame. It's pretty bad. So so that's Batman, Superman. Another film which we've all watched now is The Witch, or The Witch, which for people who don't know, is set in America when the first settlers come over from England and whatever. And it's about this family that basically go against the local village and decide to go out on their own, and they're like super religious, and they go to near a forest, and basically like it's bad shit happens to them from pretty much straight from the off until the very final scene. It's all pretty fucked up. It's a first-time director. He did a short which was a similar thing to this story apparently, and he's obsessed with like lore and legends and witchcraft and stuff, and so he's worked in a lot of it into this film. This is all before the Salem witch trials. So yeah, I mean, Tess, you saw it. So what, I mean, as a horror hater / woman, what
a horror hating woman.
A horror hating woman. Well, it definitely wasn't the most ideal film to watch when pregnant.
I bet.
The beginning bit was quite brutal.
Well, when I was saying when I said to you, Si, do you remember?
That was
I was
so funny.
I said to Si, as long as nothing, I've got Tess to go see this with me. As long as there's nothing about babies in it, should be fine. Basically, one of the worst things that could happen to a baby happens right at the beginning.
In the first 5 minutes.
I was like, you've got to be kidding me.
You're like, great, because I was seeing it the same day but later, wasn't I? And you text me just after you text me that, like an hour later, and just said, first scene, baby smash.
Seriously, great.
That was a good scene though. That was possibly.
I mean, that's a good thing. Just to go off on one a little bit, is that what I really liked about it is that it actually started out with the most horrific thing. It like really pushed it into your face. Yeah. And then afterwards, it's kind of, you know where it can go. So that's kind of almost setting that tension, that tone immediately by being like, this is going to be really fucked up, and it doesn't quite reach it ever again properly. But because
you're right.
they've
Yeah,
already done it, they started with that real. I can't think of the
that's
word.
like the kind of Hitchcock Psycho thing? You kill off the main person. So like it challenges your, like you think, oh, not the baby. They're not going to do anything to the baby.
the main baby.
Like, within 5 minutes, oh dear, the baby's gone.
Well, that's it. Yeah, and I think it just kind of sets that whole thing of like, fuck, this is, you know what it potentially could happen. It's not just like a weird unknown force. You're like,
yeah,
okay, there is something out there. It's fucking horrible and it's disgusting and evil. So it's always there, like lying in the woods. We're kind of really for people. I shouldn't say too much about it.
No, not really. I don't think it is, because it's quite abstract, really, in terms of like what is in the woods and what is actually affecting them. So it's hard to spoil it, because it's a lot of it is just left to your interpretation, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I think,
sorry, go on.
the things I kind of, if we're doing 3 things that I did like about it, would definitely be like kind of that tone, that sort of sense of uneasiness. Everything slightly kind of like off key in some sort of weird way, that makes you feel a bit. So it's not really like a horror film as such. It's not like you're waiting for something scary to like jump out of the shadows necessarily. It's just kind of that tension that builds and builds and builds, and to be honest, doesn't really ever break either. So I think that's why you leave the film and you're still thinking about it, because you haven't had that like release, that moment of like, and it's done. It just sort of like stays with you in your head or something.
Yeah, I mean the music helps that as well.
Yeah,
it's really great.
Really good. Yeah, it is. It's very atmospheric, wasn't it?
And also the dialogue. I mean, they talk ye old English.
I know that
from The Office.
Yeah, it's brave, man. I mean, to jump in quickly, like I just thought it had balls. Like, I didn't think it was particularly scary, like scary.
Yeah.
And it was billed as a horror, but it's not. I wouldn't even call that a horror, really. It's not horrific.
No, it's more like a chiller. I want to say chiller, but
it's more like a psychological period chiller. But it's it was just, for a first-time director, he's got big balls, and that's why I like it, a man. Because he like the dialogue alone is a big risk for anybody, because that could easily alienate a lot of audience members, that they don't even want to listen to that stuff. They can't keep up with it. They get lost in that ye old English in terms of phrases in that language. But he stuck to his guns on everything. He's obviously he was determined to have it that way. And also the fact that it was only 3 or 4 characters in the film, a very small location, probably quite a low budget. I thought it was very, very creative for having for being just a first-time director, and also starting out with a horrific scene involving a baby, and then some of the horrific stuff that happens to that family as well. It's quite brave to pull off from the director. So that's what I liked about it. I didn't think the
dialogue was inaccessible though.
No, it wasn't completely, but for some people it would be quite off-putting anyway.
Yeah, I imagine for Americans or whatever. Because obviously with the accent as well, because it's all Leeds, I want to say.
Really regional.
But I mean, even if it was a completely foreign language, just through the acting and what's happening and how, they physically relate to one another and everything, you would still be able to know exactly what's going on.
Yeah, you would. Oh yeah, definitely. That's how kind of visceral how eerie and how evocative it was. How it kind of affects you. That you're right. It could have been just in Scandinavian language or something. You still know exactly what's going on. You're right. But I like the performances. The guy and who's the lady from Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones, yeah.
She plays a similar character, just senile, crow, crazy, gross older lady. But there's some good scenes with her. Yeah, good scenes with her, with some breastfeeding again.
Yeah, fucking
Game of Thrones. That was a great scene. But they were good, and then the main girl was good, but the little kids were annoying. They were like,
I really like the kids.
But they were annoying.
I like the 2 little kids.
But they were the comic relief.
I thought he was.
Yeah, they were, but they were like, shut up, kids, shut up.
Black Phillip.
But that was the thing. It's throughout the whole thing, whatever, they're just 2 kids. But they're actually quite integral to the
they are, to
the story. But the little boy who was who kind of was the main. The girl is the main character, I suppose, but the little boy kind of becomes the main character for a little bit. I just couldn't deal. I just thought his acting was pretty piss. And when he has that whole like
you're right.
thing, there's no spoilers, but he kind of starts speaking in tongues and this stuff.
It's like it feels.
It's awkward.
Doesn't feel right, does it? Yeah, it feels awkward. It feels like really over rehearsed. It feels he's just delivering exactly what he's been told to do. It doesn't really feel like he's embodying anything. And yeah, you're right. That's it. That's what I was about to ask you. Either of you, did you feel like shortchanged by any of the actual scares, by any of the scenes, like that scene that it was like built up? Oh, this is going to be like a big scene towards the end. It's not necessarily going to be scary, but it's going to reveal things, or going to be quite like, oh my god, this is happening. And I felt like there was not that much suspense, and not that much thrills and chills and horror, as well as like the figure in the woods. That just didn't really go anywhere. It was all very just implied, which I quite like to an extent.
Kind of what I
I
liked
still
about
felt
it.
a bit like, oh, it's so close. But yet again, wasn't scared, wasn't really affected. I mean, that didn't really change my mood, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I liked and hated it because it was, it is like it builds up without, it kind of pays off in a little bit, but then at the same point, it kind of wants me asking more and like really wanting
potential.
To more out of it.
More potential, isn't it?
Yeah, which it still carries on that kind of tone of unease, because you're like, it doesn't feel like that's like,
finished with.
You don't feel like that's enough, that, what else is going to happen? What else is happening? This doesn't feel like it's quite.
I felt like a book, and every chapter, the last few pages were missing. That every like sequence and every act that led up to something, it was just like, oh, okay, there wasn't really a payoff. There was a few little mini anti-climaxes along the way, which I was a bit disappointed in, because I really thought it would have a big punch in the gut at some point, but it didn't, and I don't know why.
I kind of like the fact that it didn't, though. Like, you're so used to seeing a film that has this kind of linear plot, and you have a big reveal, and then the audience walks out at the end, and everything's wrapped up nicely. And it's kind of brave just to leave it a bit out there, leave things unexplained. And there's so kind of few films, like, isn't that kind of Lynch always says that, like, he doesn't like to explain his films because it loses part of its potency if you're telling people what they're seeing rather than letting them to come to their own conclusions. And by having something that just kind of is just left out there in the woods are still scary, kind of makes it feel a little bit more real and tangible.
It was funny, wasn't it? At the end, it was similar to Last Exorcism and Kill List as well. It reminded me a bit of Kill List, which is a good segue. But that kind of flipped the switch a bit towards the end, which I did like. But again, it's just the end scene, which I'm not going to spoil at all, but I just wanted it to go on just for another minute, 30 seconds, something. Something more
about it.
Don't you think that's good? Like, how often when you want more?
Yeah, but it wasn't like I don't know, not like, oh, that was so good, I wanted more of it. It was more like, that just was a bit of a tease and just not enough. For me, the whole film felt just not enough. Just a lot of potential. But for a first-time director on probably a modest budget, like I've got to give him credit. So I
really liked it. Yeah, I really highly recommend it for anyone, really. But just be prepared for that first, 10 minutes or whatever. So you saw High Rise. Yeah.
So have neither of you seen it?
No, but I've been told it's very a film about nothing. It's a bit Clockwork Orangey, and that really comes through in the fucking poster, which is almost a complete rip-off of Clockwork Orange, but never mind.
Well, it's 70s, man. I mean, it's you will love it. You both will love it.
I'm
pretty certain. Yeah, it's really, really good. I watched it last night, so I'm pretty fresh. So to give a synopsis, it's an adaptation from J.G. Ballard book, the 1975 novel of the same name. So it's like a science fiction, thrillery, dystopian, like a typical Ballard. It's 70s but futuristic, surreal, futuristic set, and it's a lot of people. I haven't actually read the book, but a lot of people say the book is quite unfilmable, and a lot of people have attempted it in the past, or tried to develop a film around it and have failed. So
like a lot of J.G. Ballard.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, most of this stuff is fucking hard to film, and to even pull off something like Crash, for Cronenberg was a really big feat, and it is similar to that in the respect that it's he's really wrestled a novel which would have been really difficult to put onto screen and interpret it in its own way. So it's by Ben Wheatley, British director who directed Down Terrace, Kill List, Sightseers. This guy's great. You know, as soon as I saw his name was attached to it, that's what sold it for me. Not necessarily the Ballard book or even the characters, the actors in it. It was just Wheatley. I'll just watch anything that he makes from now on. You know, even like, did you saw Field in England, right?
I was with you, wasn't I?
We watched it together. I don't think we did. Yeah, half falling asleep throughout the 3 hours it was on. Released on TV and cinema and on demand at the same time. That was his most recent film, about 3 years ago, isn't it? 2 or 3 years ago. That was very an experimental film of like these medieval soldiers wandering around fields in England in black and white, not really doing much or saying much and getting high on acid and arguing and digging holes in the ground.
Didn't that also have Peter Finch from The Office?
Yeah, it did. Yeah,
much the same role.
Yeah, it did. It did. Yeah, exactly. So Wheatley is a man of variety, because the films like Sightseers, it was like a comedy, dark comic, violent, crazy, like murdering rampage through the Cotswolds in a caravan or whatever. And then Kill List was like similar to Witch in terms of tone, like this foreboding, eerie tone and this weird suburban type horror film. And then now he's gone for a science fiction thriller adaptation of J.G. Ballard. So he's going all over the place, but he's got his signature. You know, he sets the tone of these films really well. And what he does best in this film, I think, is the way he films. So it's basically the book. Sorry, I'm blabbering now, but the book is about a high-rise building in this weird future version of the 70s and its occupants, basically. So the top of the building has Jeremy Irons in a good role, as opposed to Batman and Superman, playing like this rich guy at the top with his kept wife, and she frustrates him because she's like going off and playing off with other people, and he's just sitting in his ivory tower. And then the tower, the block, the building kind of goes down in a similar way as a social hierarchy would, all the way down to the bottom.
Right.
But in general, it's like it doesn't really go into much about the layers of social standing, but in general, it's a luxury building with a swimming pool and a terrace, and it's got, everybody meets up and they party together and do drugs together and smoke and have orgies and things like that. But it's mainly about Tom Hiddleston's character, and he's a doctor. And he moves into the building and he gets seduced by just the lifestyle of the building. And there's this weird pressure amongst the tenants in the building, or the occupants, to not really leave that building, to stay in this complex. There's one scene where there's a massive car park full of these cool 70s cars. And I think it was Luke Evans and Tom Hiddleston are talking to each other like, which car's mine? I can't remember where I parked it. They just don't really want, they don't know why, but people just don't want to leave this building. And it's hard to explain the plot, because similarly, apparently with the novel, it's quite convoluted and it's quite abstract. But it's about these characters and how they interact with each other, and basically how over the course of the film, the whole social standing, the hierarchy, and just the layers of the building and the occupants in the building just descend into chaos and anarchy and orgies and violence and just brutality. And that's the best thing about the film. So the building itself, there's all these like cutaway shots of the helicopter shots of this CGI, but this brutalist building. So even the architecture itself is very concrete, very brutalist in itself. So that reflects the characters, which is really cool. It doesn't really have a lot of exposition, which I really liked. A lot of it is just stuff happening in front of you. And it doesn't really establish the characters thoroughly, and it doesn't have much of like these plot threads going through. It feels like you could watch these. It's like it could be a mini series, and each episode could be the perspective of a different character in the building. And this one happens to be from Tom Hiddleston's point of view. But what's great about it is just that the tone that he sets. There's a lot of these long, like almost music video sequences, like played out to really cool music, and they're quite hypnotic montages of just the people in the house, just like I said, descending into anarchy and just becoming disgusting and becoming insane and becoming violent, and just the whole building and the people inside it cannibalizing each other and itself. And just the set design is great, and these big shag carpets and these like mirrors everywhere, which reflects the poster that you mentioned. Everything's like uber 70s, and really like Sienna Miller is in it, and she's very like sophisticated and really sexy, but at the same time she's fucked up, and she's just like everybody in there. Everyone's just got that real social and mental problems, and they just keep coming to the front as the film goes on. And even the sets, like, they're all quite fragmented later on, and things fall apart, and that mirrors like the mental state of the characters in it. The costumes are really cool as well, like these cool suits and flares and like beards and moustaches and mullets and fancy dresses and diamonds and, like I said, shag carpets and stuff. It's very, and Peggy from Mad Men, Elizabeth Moss, is in it as well, and there is some Mad Men type like style in there for sure, and that's quite interesting to have her in it. And in the center of it, Tom Hiddleston and Luke Evans, just amazing performances, really, really good. Luke Evans is like plays this documentary maker who's just like really alpha, masculine, violent, grotesque man. And then there's Tom Hiddleston, who's this sophisticated, smart, Gentile doctor who's just moved in, and obviously seeing everything just fall apart around him, and then he sort of gets caught up in it. So man, I couldn't recommend it enough. This is amazingly well directed, and it takes a lot of risks. Like I said, these long drawn out montages of just crazy shit happening in front of you, and really, really, really slow motion some shots. And there's one bit in particular where something hits a car, and that's all I'll say without spoiling much. And it's amazing, the shots, and you'll see it immediately when you watch it. The shot itself is just so well crafted, and it's really super, super slow motion, and it fits the tone of the film perfectly. And it's great, man. But it's to wrap it up, it reminds of a lot of films. It's not like a lot of people saying Clockwork Orange, and there is a lot of Clockwork Orange type imagery in there. But again, it brings like memories of Crash, inevitably Cronenberg. There's a lot of Cronenbergian things in there, even Hitchcock as well. There's like Psycho in there, and Rear Window, and Kaleidoscope. There's a lot of kaleidoscopic type stuff going on, even the way he shoots it. And Lynch as well in there. You feel there's a lot of Lynchian stuff, especially for the characters and the way that they just turn into just disgusting creatures. And then also it really reminded me of Zed and Two Noughts. Peter Greenaway's was it 80s? Was it a film?
Yeah.
It was 80s, wasn't it? I think we all watched it at uni. We all studied it, right? For me, it really reminded me of that. The way that was like an analysis on like decay. You know, the way it was about these, and zoology, about these guys studying these animals, and at the same time it had those time lapse shots of decaying fruit and animal flesh and like plants and stuff. Remember?
Yeah, that's a film that stays with you.
That is, and those images really stay with you. And there are certain images in this film that will stay with you as well. And it really, the whole time I was watching it, I was thinking he must have seen this film, and he must be slightly inspired by it. There's no real plot relevance, but it's just the imagery and, like I said, that weird just things decaying. Yeah, it reminded me of that. So I absolutely loved it. It was really good. Probably almost definitely his best film yet. And man, he just gets better and better. So yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I would happily watch it again tomorrow. Actually, that's how much I liked it.
Cool. Okay, well that comes recommended.
Yeah, sorry, it went off for a little while, but yeah, it's that good. So I'd go and see it, man. I'm pretty sure you two would love it. So do it.
Yeah, go check it out.
Okay, I'll quickly buzz through just other things that I've watched that you've seen before as well. Anyway, but Brooklyn, for instance, quite like that.
Yes.
Actually, it was good. The characters were good. It looked great.
Yeah.
I thought it was a bit slow. I didn't really like her stuff in Ireland when she goes back.
Did you think just like bitch at some point?
A bit like, oh, what a dick.
Yeah, right.
She's a dick.
Yeah,
a little bit. Yeah, I didn't really have much sympathy for her at all.
No, and I was just like, why is she doing all this stuff? But don't want to give it.
She was torn between two lives.
I know,
but she's married.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Don't lead the first guy on. Do not lead that first guy on. All right,
yeah, exactly. I was just like,
that film could just be retitled as "She's Just Not That Into You." That's what it could be called, because that's what it is, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
He knew it. The Italian plumber dude. He knew it. Mario knew it. She just wasn't about him. That so she gets tempted elsewhere.
She did. She really liked him. She married him.
I know, but not.
But the other guy run the Starkiller base.
Huh?
The other guy run the Starkiller base.
Brendan Gleeson. Dominic.
Brendan Gleeson. Donald Gleeson.
Domino.
Yeah, he is in everything, isn't he?
He is. Yeah.
He is good though, isn't he? Let's face it.
Whatever. House of Cards season 4 it's come and gone. I know you said you watched the first episode. It
Yeah.
has been.
So what do you think?
It's my favorite season since season 1.
You moaned about watching it, like you were really not up for
What?
watching this season, weren't
Yeah,
you?
because I hated 3 so much.
Me too, completely. I really didn't like 3. I thought it was awful.
Oh, it's gonna be on for ages.
And it starts off slow a bit. Starts off a little bit like, okay, come on, but then it gets really good. And literally, like the last episode of 4, I was like, "Fuck, this is gonna be wicked."
Really?
Yeah, like literally, it's made me really excited for 5 now. I'm more
Really?
excited than I've been.
Oh,
a lot
dude,
of
that means
stuff.
I've got to watch it. That means I've got to get more bandwidth to watch it on Netflix.
Yeah, man,
So
it gets really like Shakespearean.
Why? Yeah. Okay. So I was about to say, why should I watch the 4th one, considering I hate the 3rd one so much? Is it different plots and characters, or is it just they got back to good writing?
Yeah, it's good writing. So they just kind of, pace wise, it's a lot faster. So there's a lot more stuff happening. They kind of play off. I mean, I don't want to give it away, but like at the end of 3, between Frank and his wife, that's kind of the first half of the new series is kind of what's going on with their relationship. I know the whole thing is essentially about their relationship, but in terms of like a rivalry thing, I don't want to give away too much.
Okay.
And yeah, but that's what I liked about it, but it does still feel sometimes that it gets a bit silly and that characters do or say things that you're a bit like, oh, okay, like where the first season felt like a kind of more gritty drama, political drama, like even though it's a bit stupid and a bit silly, where in this series, I don't know, it just kind of, it made sense in the first series because it became like a personal motivation and stuff. Whereas this, it becomes more like doing silly things because of political/personal motivations. I don't know. It just
Are there did they introduce like good characters who make you just like?
I mean, it's all the same. It's all the
about
same
Frank,
characters. It's all the same characters.
It became just too much about him, and I know it's silly to say because it is all about him, but that's what the 3rd series I didn't like because it just turned into just a marriage drama, just those two versus each other and which way is it going to go, and that kind of just got boring for me.
Well, it is kind of still about that, but it's just intense basically, and that kind of more stuff happens. The only annoying thing is that writer guy who's in Boardwalk Empire kind of comes back, and that gets all a bit stupid and weird. But yeah, man, it's really good. Like I really recommend it.
Okay, I'll persevere. I'll stick with it.
Yeah, I also saw Disney's Zootopia or Zootropolis, depending on where you're from. That was good. It's basically dealing with racism and sexism for kids, and like drug addiction and all this stuff.
So where does the zoo come in?
Well, because they live in a city that is made up of, it's basically like predators versus prey, but they're all trying to like get along. And so prey is a bit like, oh man, like predators are still dangerous. And there's like scenes where they're like scared of like predators suddenly like turning native or as such. So it's this kind of, it's not necessarily saying blacks versus whites or anything like that, but it's like, it's talking about general racial prejudice, and also sexual prejudice. There's a lot of stuff where she's like, like because she's like a girl, like the whole thing is that she's the first female rabbit cop, and everyone's like a big fucking rhino or like elephant or tiger or whatever, and she's just like little bunny rabbit thing. And then it's like, oh, you're really cute, and she's like, please, being called cute is actually quite offensive, so please don't call me that and stuff like that. And you're like, okay.
It sounds like a 1980s Whoopi Goldberg film.
Yeah, it's basically that.
Right.
But it's I actually really liked it, and there were some really like funny bits, and also like the plot. It did kind of feel like a weird like film noir in a bit, because they're trying to like uncover some like, people have gone missing and all this stuff is happening, but there are like a proper like twists and turns where I was like, oh, okay, that's pretty cool, as an actual story.
Is it pretty serious then?
Yeah, it can be pretty serious. So that's kind of one of the things about it, is that even though it's doing it with this like quite fun veneer, it's still a little bit like, oh, I just wish it was a bit like Inside Out still had that element of like, here are some like really stupid, silly jokes.
Yeah, but some very poignant moments in it.
Yeah, exactly. Here's some more fun bits. But with this, it's like,
Yeah, but
it's trying to
Pixar
do
does
that,
that
but it
better.
doesn't do that. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's just it.
Pixar,
It's not Pixar, but it's
yeah,
still pretty good.
yeah, sounds good though.
Yeah, it's good. Jerusalem with a Z in the middle basically is about. I didn't mind it as far as found footage goes because it's all done in Jerusalem and it's these backpackers, but it's all done from like Google Glass. And this guy's like, "Oh, I've broken my glasses, so I have to wear my Google Glass to see anything." That's not called Google Glass; it's called something else.
So like that short vignette
Yeah.
in VHS.
Yeah, exactly. It's exactly that, except done as a
Okay.
90-minute film in Jerusalem where there are loads of. I mean, it's kind of like one of those slow build things, and little bits happen. And then at the end, it just turns into pretty much a whole like zombie demon thing, which actually I didn't really mind. It was pretty good. But there's like bits where they show like a big kind of Cloverfield like monster like walking through like in the distance. You're like, fuck, that never comes back up again. Like you see it like twice and they don't deal with it, and you're just like,
that looks like Cloverfield / World War Z.
Oh, you're looking at it. Yeah, it's basically that. It's pretty much that. But the monsters I thought looked pretty good, and actually like throughout, they're just like stupid American backpackers.
Yeah, classic. Why is it always American backpackers?
I know. But
discourage them from traveling.
But I mean, it was just like enjoyable shit, basically.
I love an enjoyable shit. Okay.
Yeah, and it wasn't like the end was a bit like meh, but it was yeah. As far as found footage stuff goes, it wasn't too bad. It's a bit stupid in places, as all this stuff is, but yeah, you probably like it, so it's not terrible.
Okay, that's all right. Not bad.
I finished.
Good recommendation. It's not terrible.
Yeah, but it's like it's just difficult to see
good.
any good horror like ever. So and this is one that isn't completely shit. So it's worth watching in that respect. Joy, I saw Joy. It was shit, basically.
It's not great, is it?
How boring was that?
So boring. Jennifer Lawrence was good. That was about the only thing.
It's kind of like just J-Lo grew up, and that's it. You know, it just feels like that. This is just her bit of her coming of age. You know, she's actually a woman now. She's shedded the puppy fat. But that's all from that film I took away. You know, it's just like, right, okay.
She's a woman.
Yeah, exactly. She's a woman now, and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think she actually invented that mop though. So.
Nah,
hey,
a
woman. So we saw a shitty Netflix film called Survivor. That was terrible. Just don't watch it.
Yeah,
Pierce Brosnan was the only good thing about it, and he's already in it, and it felt like the cheapest. It felt cheaper than that Spooks film, which was pretty cheap to begin with.
What, the one with Kit Harington in it?
Yeah, the great food or whatever.
Oh god, I thought that was just straight to TV. I actually thought that was just an episode on TV. But it looks pretty fucking low budget.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Also saw Bad Grandpa, which I really fucking liked. It really made me feel nostalgic for all Jackass stuff.
Yeah.
And I just like the way it's a hidden camera sketch thing, but formed around a actual like heartbreaking thing between like a grandson and his granddad. But the kid was so good. Like at the end when he did his like strip dance thing, I thought that was absolutely amazing. I cracked it up. That's so funny.
Yeah, it's great, that kid. There are some scenes in it, especially isn't there one they go into like an antique shop and start smashing stuff or something? Or,
I can't remember now.
I remember there's a couple of scenes. Was there another scene of his like balls hanging through his shorts? I don't know.
When he goes into
really good ones.
He goes into a black strip club or whatever, but it's for black women to look at black men. And he's the only white guy, and he just starts dancing. His balls are out or whatever, and the guys are getting really like they're going to beat him up. Yeah, but all that it's actually like I haven't cracked up, laughed out loud in a film like that for a while, which is just probably hinting that people who grew up on Jackass. No, never laugh. And also finished The Survivalist in secret where nobody can see on the train.
You can't really get the masturbation scene out in public, can you?
No, I had to quickly fast forward those bits.
What do you think?
I really liked it. I did think it was a little bit. I thought it got a bit repetitive, where it's like, okay, I get it, you don't trust them, like, Geez, like, Jesus, okay, let's do something else. But when like it all kind of kicked off at the end, I was like, that's pretty cool. And just the way they don't say anything, and that girl who just looks like she's stoned the whole time. Her eyes are half closed, like she's a bit special.
She is definitely special.
Yeah, that was good. So that's all I've seen, which is quite a lot.
I've got one other thing. So I was flying a lot this month. I watched Star Wars again, which was great. watching
I did
that.
as well, actually, and
you?
I
I
realised
watched
how
that
much I didn't like it.
Really,
I'm liking it less each time I see it.
Really, I still exactly the same. I still really enjoyed it sitting in. I had a row to myself as well, which was perfect on the flight. So I just lay
Nice.
down and watched that on a. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. And exactly the same moments when I watched it in the cinema, I still welled up the second time watching it. Just like, oh my God, it's ours again. Honestly, I don't know. But I get like that on planes. There's like emotions run high for some reason because you know it could be over any second. But I also watched. There's a few films. I can't remember what else I watched, but I watched this film. Have you seen 10 Years? It's like a ensemble film about a reunion, like a high school reunion with a whole bunch of dudes in it. I was like rubbernecking around the cabin and looking at what people were watching. I saw over the shoulder some dude was watching something with Channing Tatum. So I was like, oh, hello. And yeah, it was just this film that went completely under the radar.
I think I might have seen it.
A few years ago. It's the series of the cast. It's got Channing Tatum, Justin Long, Chris Pratt, who when he's really fat. So it must have been a couple of years before Jurassic World. He's like really fat in it. Who else has it got in it? A few people. The girl from the first season of House of Cards. You know, the one who Frank has just said.
Fantastic
Four. Yeah, Fantastic Four. Yeah, she's in loads of stuff. Rooney Mara, but not Rooney.
No, it's
Mara.
Kate.
Rooney.
Right? Rooney.
I have seen it.
Yeah, Anthony Mackie, Rosario Dawson, and also Oscar Isaac.
Loads of people.
Yeah, so it's basically, I mean, this is just going on about a film I randomly watched on a plane. It's 2011, it's ages ago. But I only bring it up because we went to uni together and we haven't had a reunion. But it's so funny when you watch these films. I don't know about you guys, but I have a real like weird little semi on for reunion films, you know, when it's like.
Did you cry again?
No, I didn't cry, but I got drunk. Maybe I did cry. I took sleeping pills, so I was in a weird mood. But it's like
got drunk, you're on sleeping pills.
Yeah.
I might have cried.
But then I had a road to myself, so I was like, I don't want to sleep because this is so luxury. Just trying to fight sleep. I was watching this, so it's a bit. I probably liked it more than I should have. But I find it funny, especially like in films like this, when it's 10 years later. So in America, they would have graduated when they were like 17. So they're supposed to be like 20, 27, 28, okay. And then they're all like 35.
They do not look like they would be. They're like, oh man, I can't believe it's only 10 years ago, like throughout the whole thing. And you're like,
they look older than us, and that's getting old. Yeah. But it's funny. It's just weird seeing like big names like that in the ensemble. So I quite like it when there's this reunion and people are coming back together after 10 years. It's like Chris Pratt used to be this fat bully, and he's just the suburban dad, 2.4 kids, really boring job. Driving around in a boring car, and he's like trying to make amends and apologize to the geeky Korean kids in his old class. He's like, I was a douche to you, right? But at the same time, he's being a dick while he's trying to apologize, and they're like, no, just leave me alone. Channing Tatum is just all about like, which girl do I like? And his real life wife is in it as his girlfriend. But then Rosario Dawson turns up, who was like his high school crush. So he's like, oh my god, torn. And also, Oscar Isaac is like this guy who's turned into basically a rock star, and he's coming back to school and everyone loves it. But he's just, man, you know, it's all about Channing Tatum a lot of the time, especially films like this. But Oscar Isaac is so much fucking cooler than him. I only bring it up because
there's so many more people who are cooler than Channing Tatum.
Yeah, exactly. But he's like people mention him as this heartthrob. But I only bring him up because he's, like the films that Oscar Isaac is making now, and he's going to be in Apocalypse, right? As Apocalypse, X-Men. Yeah, man, that guy is just getting huge. I swear.
I mean, he's the biggest thing at the moment. I mean, did you see Inside Llewellyn Davis?
No, I was just about to ask. Actually,
watching it, it's like it's him. It's his film, basically.
Is it really good?
He's in every scene. Yeah, it is good. Yeah. It's not like I didn't leave it going, wow. But I was like, I really enjoyed that. And like bits where he's like singing.
Well, he's a talented musician, isn't he? As well.
Yeah, I was like, it's really good.
Basically, I've got a crush on him. Yeah, and he's like the way he was in Ex Machina as well. He can play really varied roles, can't he? You can do like everything. So yeah, I kind of want to be him.
Right. I mean, fuck.
Yeah, true.
He's good. So then the other thing I was just going to mention, the last thing was Walking Dead. Are you up to speed on that?
Yeah, well, I haven't seen tomorrow's, or if people listen to this, today's.
No, I haven't. Oh, no, that's future. That's future tense. I haven't seen that.
Yeah, but I saw the. Yes, I'm up to date, basically.
He's got 13, I think, up to.
Yeah, no, it'd be more than that, I think. It's like 15.
I can't remember. I
16 now.
get so confused with the episodes because it's like split.
Yeah.
What do you like? Do you like the last few weeks of it?
Again, it's just been like a lot of filler, and again, because I know I've read the comics.
Oh, it's so annoying to watch it with Sam because he gets to being like, we're like,
this is gonna happen.
I know
This
it's gonna
guy's
happen. Oh, I love it when this bit happens, and oh, it's this character, and it's just
Yeah,
like,
but there are a lot of like,
Mr. I've read Game of Thrones.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Well, if you've read the graphic novels, oh, shut up.
I just like reading stuff. But it's yeah. So there's a lot of like nods to people like me where it's like, hey, this might happen.
It feels like it. It feels
You're
like
like,
filler,
okay.
but yeah, exactly. It's all building up to something, but it just
Yeah, but they just they're spreading it out so long. It's because it's like after this, that where the comic right. So after this whole run with Negan, that you're hearing about, like the comics aren't too far ahead from that because in the comics it skips about like 5 years and like
that's what
super old and stuff.
Yeah, that's what I want to happen. Pretty cool.
Yeah, so that's why I think they're really trying to draw this out. I mean, it goes on forever in the comics. I mean, like, it went on for about 3 or 4 years in the comics, which may be like, wow, it's a long time. But bearing in mind, it's like they're only released like once a month, really, and each one takes you about 2 minutes to read. So,
but is there going to be a big dramatic thing to end this series? Do you think? I hope
basically,
so.
there's one thing which people have been waiting for about a season and a half now. To like hit, and they keep hinting at it, and they've been hinting at it a lot. And if it doesn't happen, I mean, I was speaking to my friend Ryan about this because he reckons that basically something happens to one of the characters, and Ryan, my mate, thinks that they're setting it up for it to happen to someone else.
Yeah, maybe.
Which I hope they don't do, but I think they will do because, for instance,
have they done that? Have they killed off some people that haven't died in the comics?
Yeah. Have they killed off people that haven't died in the comics? I can't remember. I don't think so, actually, maybe. But for instance, like, okay, so in the comics, spoiler, in the comics, Abraham is walking down the road with Eugene, and he gets a bullet straight through his eye as they're talking, and he dies there and then. And Abraham's like a much cooler character in the comics. And he's
when did that happen?
In the comics. That happens like around where they are now in the
that could
series.
Happen soon.
Well, this is it. So, that's it. And then at that last episode, they were walking down the street.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, here we go.
Eugene got it.
Well, no, he didn't.
He didn't get it.
Yeah, but Eugene got. He got shot, didn't he? The other day, last week. Right?
No, I don't think so. Did he get shot?
What's the last thing that happened when you watched it? Exactly.
Carol's
gone off.
Yeah. Why is there so much Carol? Yeah. She went off and she made her like stabby wooden stick car.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, and then she's like, I can't kill any more people, and then killed loads more people.
Yeah, and then
like
she
5
just
minutes.
like shoves that stick into that guy all the way through. I was like, how you physically you wouldn't be able to do that. It was similar to the scene a couple episodes ago where fucking what's his name again? Korean kid. Glenn, when they're killing those guys in their sleep with the knives.
Yeah,
and but it's like a knife through hot butter. They're like, I need to kill him. Dead. And like, well, it's not a zombie. That guy is a guy. He's a human.
He's not
being.
just woken up and gone.
So like if I was say you're asleep and Tess was lying next to you and she had a knife in her hand. And
I don't know the way this is going already.
She's gonna stab you in the brain. It wouldn't just be like a dead. Like a peaceful way to die.
How do you know?
It plainly wouldn't.
It did feel like that. It felt like this should be
at least a second
harder than it is.
It could be like sticking a knife in a melon.
Yeah, but that's hard. You've got to put some effort in. That was literally just like, and surely there'd be at least a split second of like, oh my god, my brain, and then dead. Just like yeah. But yeah, there's been so many times like that in Walking Dead. It just feels like I haven't thought it through.
Well, this is
zombies must be like made of tissue paper.
Those guys, you can just blow them over
easily.
Yeah.
But what I was going to say is, when Eugene and him are walking down, you're thinking, okay, it's going to happen, and then it cuts to the blonde doctor woman, and then that thing happens. You're like, oh, okay, so
that was cool.
Swapped it. Yeah, they've kind of
cool because not much happened in the episode until then, and it was all like,
yeah.
No, wait, yeah, but then no, something else has happened since then. I've got a feeling. Why do I feel like I've seen an episode that you haven't?
You might have, because there's an episode getting released tomorrow.
The one when Carol goes off in a spiky car, and then
yeah, that was the last one. Yeah,
Daryl goes off to try and find the bird guy.
They all get caught. This is so spoilerific. They all get tied up in the forest, and it ends with like ends in the worst way. Spoiler.
Yeah,
Skip forward 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Where like they shoot and you see the blood go off near Daryl, and someone goes, "Hey, you're gonna be okay.
You're gonna be okay." Yeah,
and the credits come up, and you're like, "That was shit afterthought."
Yeah, that was such a shame. But in the same episode, did Eugene get shot? And then they carried him off, and they fixed him up.
Maybe.
He got shot. He got shot in the stomach, or something happened to him, or like some sort of ricochet or whatever.
Yeah, he got maybe stabbed or something.
Yeah, because they were on the train.
Him and Abraham had this moment, and they were like,
exactly.
"They're totally level 2 now."
Yeah, that was the week before, wasn't it? And they carried him off. But it was like, why did they? Because there's no doctor now. So how did they fix him, for one thing? How did he recover? And like, the way they
leaves in there.
Yeah, exactly. Like a fucking punctured tire on a bike. Yeah. So God knows. That's why I brought that up. Thinking, how did they fix him up? And why do they have to carry him off like that? Like he couldn't move, like he was dying. Because there's been a lot of like, this person's going to die. Oh no, they're okay. The Walking Dead recently.
Yeah.
Just miraculously, okay, you survived something that should have killed you. But yeah, like you said, it feels like it's building up to something, so it better happen soon, because it's getting repetitive. That whole we're okay in this like complex, and we're quite a nice community, and we keep walking around and guarding the perimeter. And this ginger guy is swapped a Latino chick for a black chick, and and then the priest is walking around, and the other guy's got his wooden stick still, and it's just getting very repetitive. And then it's just all about Carol for some reason going off on a fucking menstrual journey. So
menstrual. It always does.
I don't know. She's
I don't think she's menstruating anymore.
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah. When you hit middle age, right, and go crazy and try and kill.
Oh yeah, that's the one.
Okay, well this brings us nicely to our things of 5 80s films that you like to see. You like to see a sequel to. Did you got a list? Have you got a list?
Did you got a list? Yeah, I've got a few, mate.
Okay, let's hear
I've only got 3.
I'll tell you what. Let's just do. All right. Okay. Well, let's start from our number 5s. And
oh man, should we just throw them out there?
Yeah, I really
want to do it turn by turn.
I really struggled.
All right, okay. Yeah, but mine aren't in order. Mine aren't like 5 to 1. Mine are just 5 randoms on a page.
Fine. Well, just give me one of yours then. We'll just do one each then.
Okay, I'll start. One of mine is Weird Science. Because I want to see some boobs and a shower scene.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
What? Really? Oh, you weren't a teenage boy. That's why.
No, I wasn't a teenage boy, and I'm still not.
I don't think it does.
But one day you might have a teenage boy.
Weird Science 2, where girls are creating a hot, hunky man instead.
They do Weird Science 2. Oh, well, the remake of Weird Science.
I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know, but yeah, it'd be shit, like really shit. But I'd quite like to see that with 2 like geeky kids making their perfect woman again with a twist and some crazy 80s house parties. So that'd be quite cool.
Well, my number 5 I had, I know we're not doing numbers, but I'm going to do it anyway, is and this is a sequel to a sequel, but it's a kind of a film in its own right. I would like to see Return to Oz 2. Returning to Oz.
Returning to Oz. Yeah, but they did they do a 3 or did they not do a 3?
Not in that same vein. Just because it was so dark and horrible.
Creepy as fuck. Yeah, it was great.
Weird.
Yeah,
it was amazing.
It's
like, the heads in the jars or whatever, and the backwards heads and the skater guys, the skaters going around.
Wheelers. They're called wheelers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just Dorothy. Was it Dorothy again? But she was that chick that had that big mouth and ended up in like Bound or whatever the fuck this she was in.
Yeah, she's big in the 90s. Craft.
Yeah. Craft, that was it, yeah. This big mouth, big teeth. Even she was weird to look at. She was just a weird kid. It's funny to go from like Wizard of Oz, which is relatively, I mean, it's got some quite bizarre elements to it, but like very bizarre actually, but it's relatively tame in that respect. To go quite creepy horror in
Post-apocalyptic
remakes.
Oz. That's why I like
Yeah,
it.
it's like 20 years later as well, wasn't it? 30 years later or something.
Imagine a new, different world
Was she in,
that
like,
got
a
fucked.
mental asylum or something?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's the whole like,
Yeah, it's really
instead of it
bizarre.
being like, oh, I'm like ill at home or whatever, and I've got back. It's like, yeah, that she's getting fucked over in a child's mental asylum, going
Yeah,
through
it's completely different.
electrical therapy.
Yeah,
brilliant.
that would be cool.
It's great.
Yeah, a remake of that. Yeah, that would be cool.
But then-
Okay,
But then what would it
so-
be? Would it be James Franco? The second,
James Franco.
It would be the Oz 2, Return to whatever it would be.
It would
Oh,
be
yeah,
bring
I
her
forgot
back.
about that.
Bring
Yeah,
her.
exactly.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Return ×2 back to us. It would be, but bring her back. Bring Big Mouth 90s chick back, whatever her name was.
Oh man, she's probably like on fucking heroin.
Oh god, I don't know. She'd be fucked up now. That'll make it even better.
Yeah,
And
good.
Dorothy.
Okay, that's a good one.
All right,
Tess?
go on then, Tess.
I found this really difficult because a lot of them already have sequels,
True,
and B, who likes a sequel really? No
true,
one.
true.
I went The Goonies.
Goonies 2.
Yeah, predominantly just because getting the cast back together and seeing how they've aged
Yeah.
would be
That's
fun.
sloth.
Their
funny.
kids get into stuff. Sloth's kids go back.
Yeah, I saw Sloth a couple of days ago. We at work, we sold something to a guy who wasn't actually him, but looked exactly
Oh, I
the
was
same.
like, what are the chances?
My brother like came into the office. He's like, "Oh, you got to come out and check this guy out." I was like, "Why? What is it?" He said, "Just hey, you guys, that's all." And then I went over there, and I was like, "Right, okay, this guy is like 6'4" and he's sloth." But he didn't say, "Hey, you guys," but he looked exactly the same.
Oh god, poor
He
guy.
was, he was something. But yeah, man, Goonies, man, it's classic. Yeah, Josh Brolin back in pumping
Yeah, why
weights
not?
in his mum and dad's living room.
Yeah,
Yeah,
That'd be good.
Sean Astin again would be good
Yeah.
to see.
yeah. Do a truffle shuffle, but he's all like really fit with like an amazing wife or whatever, or something now. Yeah, don't do that anymore. I've got a six pack. It's not really a truffle shuffle. Okay, well, I'll go on to my number 4. I don't know why I've done this, and this is all about returning, but for some reason, Coming to America 2.
Yeah, that's a good one. I was thinking that as well.
It's coming back to America again.
Yeah, but then it could be coming to somewhere else, coming to
Africa,
Afghanistan.
wherever he's from.
Yeah, reverse it.
they're African, yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, just old school. We saw 48 Hours the other day, actually,
Yeah.
which was like intense. Nick Nolte was just like,
An angry dude.
yeah, I was just like, my God, it's just exhausting to watch him.
Alcoholic.
No, yeah, it's just so intense. And like, it's really like, I know it was the whole point of it. It's supposed to be like about race. And it's like one of the first, apparently like 80s buddy, what's 82, buddy cop movie kind of things that started off the trend. But it was really like some of the racism in it, even when it's to be, you know, this is supposed to be racist. It's not casual racism. It's because these people are racist, or whatever. It's still a little bit like, just makes me feel weird.
Yeah, it just felt a bit too.
Well, there's some of that in
Casual.
Neil's Cop as well, isn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That really.
Yeah.
But this was worse. Like this was me sounding like, "Eesh."
yeah.
But then, like, I was thinking like Beverly Hills Cop and Coming to America. But then, who would it be? Like, who would you chuck Eddie Murphy back in, or have you got in mind like a young black comedian?
Let's
Well, not
remake all the great 80s Eddie Murphy films with Eddie Murphy.
With Eddie Murphy.
But with no racism.
Let's see if he
Yeah.
can still do it.
I don't think he could, but we could see.
So that was
But,
my
yeah.
number 4. What about you?
Well, another one from the list. I was thinking, I agree with Tess though, because a couple of these films I really like and loved as a kid. So they're kind of precious, but so in one breath I'd say, oh no, you can't remake it. It's a classic. But I'd also, I don't know, maybe it'd be interesting to see what they do. But Stand By Me was one of my favorite films as a kid. So
Okay.
if someone was to remake it, I would.
Stand By Me 2. TOO.
Yeah. My initial reaction would be like, fuck, why they remade it? But fuck it, it's so long
you
ago
like
now.
the same kids, but now they're in their
No, the
30s,
same-
like Will Wheaton.
Remember, this is a sequel.
Yeah,
It's not a remake.
Okay.
No,
Them
we're
the
doing,
rules.
I thought we're doing remakes.
No,
Remakes.
it's sequels.
Sequels.
Oh, I thought we're doing remakes. Oh,
No,
anyway.
How are you going to do a sequel? One of them's dead for a start.
Yeah, I know. That's going
It's
to be
no
quite hard to get
remakes.
Phoenix
Sequels.
back. Okay, so yeah, so the
There's loads
sequel.
of films I'd want to remake. I wouldn't want to remake Return to Oz if I could remake another thing. It's just
I
like
thought you meant
sequels.
remake it, yeah, but like in a crazy way, like different remake, like revamp. That's what I thought you meant.
I'm not
Like,
suggesting you
no,
revamp the Goonies.
No, sequel.
All right, so Stand By Me 2, TOO. Yeah. Okay. Like
Exactly.
the kids of those guys, then, you know, they go
It's
off and do
about
exactly the same thing. It's really
It's about a less cool group who went out and did had a really shit adventure that wasn't quite as dramatic.
They didn't find.
Hey, we did it too.
Yeah, they didn't find anything. We found a dead body. We didn't find shit. So
Yeah.
we just like touched each other. Yeah, that's what I want.
Stand by me too.
Okay.
Okay, that's a good. Right, Tess, what's yours?
I went with Escape from New York,
Yeah, but there is already Escape from New
I
York too. It's
know,
Escape from LA.
but they can do
Yeah.
another one.
You can't just do that. You can't just pick that
Why not?
because there is a sequel. You
Well,
can't
they're
say.
going to do another sequel.
Yeah, but then that's not a sequel.
What is it then?
It's the third
Threequel.
film, a threequel.
Yeah.
A threequel. That isn't an official word.
There is a sequel to Escape from New York,
Well,
and
it
it's
could
called
be
Escape
like-
to LA.
It could
Yeah,
be like Escape
from LA.
from San Francisco or something.
Yeah, but then that's not the sequel. Then I want there to be like
Okay, so-
a Superman 10.
So, okay, I want a sequel to Escape from LA.
Yeah, but that's not an 80s
No,
film.
that's the 90s film. No,
Yeah.
it was in 2000 even.
Yeah, so that one doesn't count, right? You're off.
Unbelievable.
Failed abysmally. Okay, well, here's one. Commando 2.
Oh, yeah, that would be a good one.
Is there not already been a Commando 2?
No,
Feels like there wouldn't be.
No,
there's not.
No.
Schwarzenegger. Yeah, just love that film. And I think it would be great with like a big Fast and Furious style, ridiculous action shit. Bring Schwarzenegger back. Why not? Fuck it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, why
You
not?
do
And
it. You do it in a second.
yeah, who else was in Commando? No, yeah, who else was in Commando?
It's his
pretty much
daughter
just-
who was someone famous, but it's
Oh, yeah.
also that guy who was in Mad Max 2.
Oh, yeah.
What's his name?
Yeah.
He just looks so homosexual, even though he's not. Well, he might be. I don't know.
Probably is.
Yeah, what's your one? Number 3 or whatever.
Okay, what else would I do? I wouldn't mind doing. I was going to say Lost Boys, but there is actually Lost Boys sequel.
Yeah, there is a sequel.
It was shit.
Oh, you
But
didn't
then
follow the rules.
but that like 2008 crappy spin-off, like that isn't barely even a sequel. Lost Boys: The Tribe, it was called. I don't even know how-
It still had the same guy in it.
To be fair, I didn't know there was a
It still
sequel.
had Corey Haim or whatever in it.
Yeah, yeah.
But I quite like Lost Boys. Okay, so a different one. How about we were to do? You're right, man. Most of these films have already had sequels.
I know, which is why it's great.
Okay.
Do you want my last
Okay,
one and then I'll look up some other ones?
No, I've got another one.
Well,
I've got.
lovely research, guys.
We can do. It's still 80s, late 80s. Big Two. Big Two.
Yeah.
I think you might need to work on the title.
Why not too big?
Bigger. No, just bigger.
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 Bigger. Good
Yeah.
one.
So it'd just be bigger. So
Nice one.
Tom Hanks old, and now
Yeah.
he's a grandfather.
yeah, exactly. So it's Tom Hanks.
It's not very
he get- he-
supernatural.
Yeah, he plays with some like fairground toy machine thing, and yeah, he turns into a very old man.
Yeah.
And he meets a really, really old lady, and he's like, "Oh God, I'm actually going out. I'm having sex with an 80-year-old,
Yeah.
and I'm 50. This is weird." And yeah, that would be Big Two, bigger.
It sounds like a porn film.
It's set in the future. It's set like 50 years in a dystopian future.
That's a good one. All right. Did you want another go, Tess? She's
I'm a bit
frantically
scared to.
Googling.
No, that's
Who
fine.
is
This is Spinal Tap.
2. Yeah, that'd be really good. They could do like a reunion tour thing.
Yeah.
it? Yeah.
How amazing would that be? Like so many old bands are kind of getting back together and, you know, dusting off the leather trousers to
Yeah.
do kind of one big last stadium gig.
All still alive.
I think
Yeah.
that would be brilliant.
Yeah, that would be good. If they didn't fuck it up, yeah, it'd be really good.
Didn't
And
they?
they're
They got
really
them together
funny.
again, didn't they?
Yeah, well, they
They
actually
did.
did a tour. Yeah,
Yeah,
didn't
they
they?
do.
Yeah.
They played at Reading or
Something or
something. Yeah,
something.
something like that.
Yeah.
But I love that film, and I would worry about it being rubbish and sort of spoiling the film in itself. But they're still really funny guys, so I think they could do it.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Any more Spinal Tap? Can't go wrong with that.
Good. So my second one was, which I think they're making actually, which is Beetlejuice 2.
Aren't
I think so.
Yeah, I feel like I heard that.
That would be really good. I just think Michael Keaton, he's on form. He's still hot right now, right after Birdman and Spotlight. and whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, man, that'd be
good
cool.
one.
Yeah, he could. Yeah, exactly. He could go back as Beetlejuice. For
Yeah.
Sure.
And also, like, Beetlejuice looks fucking weird and old in it anyway, so he could probably look exactly the same as he did in the fucking 80s, to be honest.
Yeah, man.
Get
Yeah,
Baldwin
good.
back. Why not? Gina Davis. Fuck it.
Yeah, she's
Winona
still fun.
Ryder.
Winona Ryder,
Why not?
yeah. She hasn't done
Yeah,
much.
yeah. Back them back together. That'd be all right. Right. What about another one? Okay. So what about? Well, this one hopefully they're making, but Blade Runner 2. They are making, aren't they?
They are making it. Apparently, Ryan Gosling's in it.
Is he? Man, I mean, that's been in development for ages. Maybe they should leave it alone, but it's going to happen. So why not make one?
Well,
Blade
Harrison
Runner 2.
Ford is apparently maybe coming back to star in it in some way, shape, or form.
Is he? But he's just confirmed that he's going to do another indie, isn't he? They're doing another
Yeah. Why not? He's going to might as well
one.
cash it in whilst he can
Yeah.
before he gets way too old.
Nah, lame.
Yeah, but I don't know if I want to see it. I'm not sure.
I
But
don't.
I'd
I mean,
rather than just
obviously,
make
I
another
will watch
Prometheus.
it, but
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want to.
they might make it really good. Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. What else you got?
That was
Okay. Well, my number one was Running Man 2.
Yes,
I
please.
would love to that.
your.
And Schwarzenegger
Schwarzenegger back into the game. Yeah, that'd be wicked.
That's one for your choice.
Well, he was the 80s. But yeah, I mean, Hunger Games and all this stuff is dead now. So bring back the original, which was Running Man. Yeah, loved it. That is my number one that I'd like to see a sequel to that doesn't exist.
I've got a last one. I'd quite like to see, even though this is like Holy Grail of horror, but The Shining 2, about a new family that goes there.
No, you
Years and years. No, but like handled by a good director.
Like who?
Sorry.
Who is going to be as good as Kubrick?
The Witch guy. Fuck it.
No, yeah, exactly. No, you will. Yeah, well, you know, Ben Wheatley, give him a go. Yeah, no one's gonna be able to live up to Kubrick, but it could be cool though. You know, chuck like a young cast going to this hotel. They don't know anything about it. They don't know the reputation, and then loads of crazy shit happens again, but handled very, very well with a good director and a good script. Could be interesting.
30 years ago today, there was an incident. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how the trailer would
30 years
begin.
ago today.
Electrifying.
Yeah.
But they know, bam. But then it will just turn into like American Backpackers turning up at Big Hotel.
Yeah.
It'd be shit.
Jack's back.
What would you call this one?
Shinier.
So shiny.
The second Shining. The Wax.
Like when I Google it, it says there was a TV miniseries of The Shining.
God, there's a TV miniseries of everything.
Well, in the actual book.
With Rebecca De Mornay in it.
Yeah, that's so when I read, because I've read the Shining book and it's shit, but that was a whole thing where Stephen King was like, yes, this is more what I was thinking, but I've never seen that
Why did you
miniseries.
hate the film?
Because he's apparently since then he's been like, I get it and it looks great, but it's not my story of The Shining. Thank God, because that story of The Shining is fucking shit. Have you read it? Have you guys read it?
No, never read it.
It's so bad. It's not scary. It's literally the most unscariest thing ever. It's basically, it all takes place around the dad. And whereas like the film The Shining is obviously, it's all like tense and it's a bit weird and supernatural, whatever, but is it? And all this. Like with this one, it's just like the dad's just a dick. He's just a fucking knob to like, and he's getting like a little bit possessed. And basically all he's doing is he's going into the attic and reading through all these old letters and stuff. And that's kind of it. And it's just kind of like being a bit possessed, but there's no like real stuff. It's just a little bit like, ooh, that's weird.
Oh, okay, yeah. So,
and it's like, there's a whole like fucking 10 pages about the little kid, like who's getting spooked out by like a light in the corridor.
Oh man!
And it's like, oh, this is lame. This isn't like, but the film is a million times better. But
yeah, it's funny actually.
On.
When you actually Google the things we're talking about, they're all like in the works anyway. Like there is actually a Shining 2 in the works called Doctor Sleep. Yeah, about.
Well, they did a book. There was a book.
Yeah, it's like a spin-off or something, right?
Yeah, and it's about the kid, and he grows up, and he's lost his powers,
No, apparently it's about the kid who's now middle aged dealing with his supernatural
Oh,
gifts in
that's
the
it.
same way,
Okay.
in the same way his father would have had with copious amounts of alcohol. So this apparently they might be making that. So people are way ahead of us.
That'd be a shame. Okay, well that's it, right? So that was our top 5.
Done.
So well, I was going to end it on a game. Do you want to end it on a game? It's a game that means, huh?
Should we do it next time?
Oh, he's tired.
Ah.
You're the guys who need to go to sleep soon.
I know, it's true. I'm up in like 6 hours.
We'll do one again soon. We'll do a big time
What
for
game
that.
do you normally play?
Well, no, we've kept talking about having games at the end, and then we're always too tired and can't be bothered.
Yeah, but 80 sequels is a good game, right?
Yeah.
You want to do? We can do a quick one.
No, it was a game.
Let's do a quick. Okay, that was a chore. No, let's do a quick one then. Let's do
I was going to say
condensed version of it.
a game that me and Tess play quite a lot, which is like name 15 or 20 films starring blah blah blah. So I don't know if you want to do it or if you want to give a random actor, and I'll see or we'll see if we can get it. How do you want to do it? If you're tired, would you rather us guess?
Yeah, I don't want to be guessing, so
Okay.
I'll throw a.
Okay, you throw an actor and give us how many films you think would be, and feel free to aim big because
I was just going to say, don't be silly.
no, you can be silly, and I'll just
Don't-
push for it.
Don't be
Why can't
silly.
I? What, as in, don't be obscure.
No, as
like,
in like, don't be like, name every single one of their films.
I like to aim for like a big number.
Sam's always silly when you play this game, by the way.
Whatever.
It's
So
a backstory to that.
name an actor, actress, whatever, and see how many films.
Like big actor, small actor. Well,
Whatever
big is
you
better,
want.
right?
As long as I know who it is, then yeah.
No, I'll go like big and obvious. So then it's a good way to introduce the game to people,
Okay.
and then with a big number.
Okay.
So I reckon you have to go for. There's 2 of you, so it's 15 films. That's quite big. But he's made a lot. All right, let's go for Jim Carrey.
Okay. Ready? You take count of it. Right.
Yeah,
Mask.
Okay. Yeah.
Mask. Fun with Dick and Jane. Dumb and Dumber. Dumb and Dumber 2.
Dumberer or something.
He's not in Dumb and Dumber.
Is he not?
No.
Mm. Ace Ventura.
Ace Ventura, Pet Detective. Ace Ventura 2.
Oh, 2 and 1. Yeah.
Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Eternal Sunshine. Yep.
Yeah.
I Love You, Philip Morris.
Yeah.
Truman
8.
Show.
Truman Show.
Yeah, good one. 9.
Thanks.
Kick-Ass 2.
Cable Guy.
Cable Guy.
Yeah. 11. 4 more.
There's loads. I can't think of any now.
No,
Earth Girls Are Easy. I like to think of the more completely obscure
Obscure
ones.
Yeah, I know. Earth Girls Are Easy. Who's seen that?
We've gone through
Okay.
Jeff Goldblum.
early
Brilliant.
career.
You got 3 more. Think like really shitty comedies like that he's been doing more recently.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what he's been doing recently, and I'm coming up with nothing.
Stuff about animated stuff in there, animated animals in there.
Are you giving us clues, or is this
I'm giving you clues to get the last 3.
animated?
Animated animals in it.
Yeah.
Liar, Liar.
Yes.
Oh,
Nice.
right.
Okay, 2 more.
Vintage Kerry.
Yeah, that's from his
If
real.
you will. That's a real textbook
High
from his
peak.
Ove.
Batman Forever. Sorry.
Nice. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So you got 14. What last one?
Last one. Let's end on a.
Could we like?
Let's end on a big
Let's
one.
think of his serious ones.
Yeah. Well, I can't really think Eternal Sunshine is a serious one. Must have done loads more.
No,
Yeah,
he did do another quite serious one.
I got Truman Show. That was.
Oh, I
Yeah,
tell
that
you
was,
what.
Frank
Man on
Darabont.
the Moon.
Man on the Moon.
Oh
there
yeah, Smell on the Moon. That's good. I was thinking Majestic. That was quite serious.
Oh, yeah,
Terrible.
that's terrible.
I didn't see that.
Wasn't great. Yeah, the one I was talking about, the animated animals, was Mr. Popper's Penguins. And,
I would never have got that in a million years.
I forgot about that.
yeah, more modern shitty comedy. And then another animated thing he did the Christmas Carol as well, didn't he?
Oh yeah.
It's
Yeah,
good.
The Grinch.
Grinch, yeah.
Yeah, shit, the Grinch. Yeah, man, you could do 20 of those, I reckon.
Yeah,
That's good.
Did we miss
That's
out any
good.
big ones?
No, you got most-
Popper's Penguins.
You got most of the apart from Popper's Penguins, most of the big boys. Yeah, Kick-Ass 2.
He plays a lot of cameos, I feel
Morris.
like.
Man 2 and stuff like that.
Come on to yeah, I wouldn't know about
Yeah.
Me, myself, and Irene.
Yeah, that's a big
that.
one.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's
No, good.
that's it, I suppose.
Cool.
Did
So
you like the game?
it wasn't that.
I did like the game. We'll do it again another time.
You'll have to guess
more
next
awake.
time.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's
I'll
it.
be ready then.
Well, that's it from us. That's Soggy Popcorn. You can follow us on Twitter at Soggy Popcorn or email us soggypopcornteam@gmail.com. If you send any kind of question or anything,
have you
it
ever
will.
had a question?
Yeah, we had one.
Yeah. Two.
No, we've had two.
One was
actually, yeah.
about drunken stories for some reason. So
One was about
one movie related one general one.
One was have you ever kissed?
No, but that's what it felt
No,
like.
one was how often do you kiss? Oh no, yeah.
How often do you kiss? No, one was like, hey, have you guys got any more drunk stories? Like,
What was your drunk story?
Loads, man.
we
Yeah,
did have
you
loads.
know
I can't
us.
remember which ones we went for in the end.
What is it? Yeah.
Not a kissing one, I'd hope.
No, and then Chris Brown sent us a question. Yeah,
Yeah, he'd be in our 10 years. The film.
Yeah.
he would be what he was at Johnny's wedding. That felt like a 10-year thing, but I wasn't there. Anyway, it's just getting people don't know who these people are.
Yeah.
So thanks for listening. Oh, that's it. I've given the outro. So yeah, thanks everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Cool. Yeah. Bye.